Sorry, y'all. Sorry, y'all. This is going to be wrong. I had somebody just now sitting up there talking about a real good friend of mine is homosexual, and his sister called me up all kinds of upset from my neighbor, okay? Because that's how I know them. And somehow they must have been talking about that I was over there. I started to make a call earlier. But I decided it was too much in the middle of the day. Meanwhile, and I don't want to bother nobody. So, sorry about that. Somebody was knocking at the door. But anyway, somebody wanted to ask me. Oh my gosh. So yeah, she was saying that she was upset because that people were treating her brother bad because of who he loved. You know what I mean? And it was funny because her brother came in and got both of us in check and said, "No, it's not about who I love, it's who I want to F." And I was like, "What?" So, like I said, it's raw because he said that a lot of people don't want to sit there and talk about it, but this isn't about who we want to love, who we want to have, who we want to have marriage with, it's who we want to have sex with. These people want to have nasty, dirty sex. They like it. They get off on it. It's nasty. And they like that. That's their fetish. And they feel that it's their right. And they feel very comfortable. But other people want to put a label on it that'll make it more palatable, the politicals. And that really bugs the crap out of most of them because they're like, hey, quit trying to hijack me for your cause and your agenda. Me personally, I just get off on what I get off on, and you keep trying to put me in some kind of a movement, and that's just not all right. And I agree with that. I was very interested in what he had to say, and his sister, she looked a little startled too because it's funny because at first they were quite at odds, and he's homosexual because, I don't want to say cuz, but he feels that him being molested as a child created that, and I can kind of relate to that. I got into the S&M bondage thing for a while because I was molested as a child, and I felt that it was forced on me. And slavery taught, MK Ultra, all of that teaches you that if you hit a man long enough with a whip, he'll learn to love the whip because these are survival mechanisms that the Lord has given us so that we can survive. You may not realize this, but many people, when they were conquered in war, the women were forced to marry the enemy, or they would, like, just for giggles, tell them, okay, dance as they're shooting at them, all kinds of crazy stuff. And so God has given us some interesting mechanisms. I've seen people lose their leg and not know it. And I've seen other people bounce around the office because they got a paper cut. So it's all about mechanisms, and that's what makes the world so fascinating, my beautiful brothers and sisters. So anyway, I just had to let you know that, and I thought it was very important that you understand that not most of this is about love. Oh, you have a right to love. No, there's a lot of molestation going on. There's a lot of licentiousness going on. And it's about lust. There's a lot of lust going on. That's why there's such high violence among that. That's why there's so many problems around it. And they gave you the myth of the guy that was all beat up. I'm not saying that that's never happened, but I am saying that the fights I've seen was a homosexual literally groping, molesting, crawling all over because he had demons on him on another person, where they're like trapping people in closets and things because they just got to get the freak on. One fellow said he was a sorcerer and that he would lose his priestcraft if he didn't do that. Some of them think that they'll die without it. So don't be telling me that you know what you're doing if you're not even aware of this stuff. Study it, research it. Take your own time, because the fact is, I'm tired of people doing everybody's homework. And no, I'm not tired of helping. I do love you. This is my mission. The Lord knows what He's doing, and you guys can trust me. But you do need to take a step out for yourself. Every person has to have some responsibility for their own success. And you know what? One of the reasons I haven't taken a dime from anybody since I was 13 years old is because if I took one dime from my family, they would have said that every single dime I ever made after that was courtesy of their nest egg. And I'm just not going to have that. I want everyone, and I want everybody to hear this, to know that it was God, God, and only God who got me where I am. And yes, I've been homeless more than once. Yes, I've been at the very bottom. I've lived everywhere from the jungle to, I mean, you and Nimli, okay? And so, even in Doki, Egypt, I will have you know that I had people tell me, you're going to need mental health when you get home because of this. This is just not something people, survive. And I got the Lord. Although I do enjoy therapy and talking to people. Anyway, know that God loves you, and so do I.